Hello everyone, this is Voidverse by Damien Ober, and let me say first, I actually really do like this cover, all reflective, which actually reflects something in the book actually. Underneath it, I'm going to take the jacket off here, put that aside. There's some artwork on there, and so this gives you a picture of what people see. So you have the void, but it doesn't work in the way that you think a void works. It has a lot of description that sounds very windy, but it is described as a silence so profound that it roars, and they're constantly having to, if you get out into the void, or if you're standing on the edge like this person is and you're having a conversation, you kind of got to yell to have the other person hear you, even though it's so silent. So it's an oddly magical setup. These are not different worlds, but they are just maybe small islands out in the void. They tend to be very far away from each other, but here we have, this is actually a setup called the slant, so you have several of these rocks right in a row. I think they're vaguely pyramid shaped, sort of like that, but just because you're on a flat island and there's stuff underneath it. You can travel through the void via some technique of concentration, and it starts out that way. There's a bunch of kids kind of floating out and then coming back, and you actually have a choice you can make, just to go out to the void or come back and stay home. Most people stay home because the void is, well, it's just a lot. It's a lot of space, and you can get lost. Maps are a requirement, or you can just lose your way and no one's ever going to find you again. There's not much in the way of communication between islands, except until someone shows up and they start, talking about the news of where they came from, where they're going. As a result, these are very isolated communities, and they come up with their own set of rules. And legends spring up in between each. Some of them are connected, some are not. They all seem to, I haven't heard of that, but I have heard of this. And a puzzle gets figured out as the characters go on their adventure from all of this. Character-wise, I don't know how to explain this. They're distinct enough, but if someone reads this and criticizes the characters as basically cardboard, I can't argue too much about it. But they're distinct enough to actually like them. And in particular, so when you get out into the void, you can rise, you can sink. There doesn't seem to be, I don't know about an up and down. It doesn't really say anything about, like, if a flat of an island is like this, and you land on top of it and go like this. Like, is one island like this and another like this and another like this? It doesn't really say, but there seems to be some kind of up and down from any given place. So I assume they're all kind of floating in the same, basic setup, and all kind of go, well, that's up, that's down, that's left, that's right, and so forth. So sinkers and risers, and our main character here, she is called Sinker. She does have a name, which you get to hear later. And she is a good example that there's just enough there that she's likable, and you want to see her succeed. But I kept going, where's the background? And here and there you get a little piece. And it isn't until the end that you get to the crux, and I liked the circle that is completed there a lot. She is a badass warrior woman, carries a sword around. She is like the best at getting around in the void. She acquires a traveling companion, and it's just funny when she comes in for a nice soft landing, and he just until he gets better at it. And now they're after these things called anomalies, artifacts, trinkets of various shapes and sizes. And the reason they're after them is because there is this thing called the construct, which is basically another type of, I feel like it's much larger than the islands, and it just goes around and crunches them up, takes it all in, uses its resources, kills a lot of people. They're out to save the people in this universe, whether they like it or not, because of some ending that's come along. Some of these, everyone has their own legend about how everything's going to end. It's a little, like you've never, this is not Tolkien-esque at all. I don't know if this is I wouldn't call it a space opera. It might be sci-fantasy, but it's very steampunky in a way, and it's just a much larger environment than instead of just being limited to some kind of mechanical city, that type of thing. There was this interesting piece where I bring it up because something like this happened in the book Moby Dick, where she starts this paragraph, and blah blah blah, comma blah blah blah, comma blah blah blah, comma 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 comma, and I'm like, I hated it. And you'd go through a couple of pages, and nothing by the end has anything to do with what started at the beginning. But this is a little different. It's several pages, and it's done a couple of times where it's just, here's what happens, comma, here's another thing that happened, comma, here's another thing that happened, comma, and it reads like a montage that I think should have been set to music of their adventures as they go on this long journey trying to get to the crux of the situation. I actually really enjoyed it. There's a part of me that says, this isn't very good, but then most of me said, no, I actually really enjoyed reading the book, and I think there's a reviews that seem to be loved it or hated it, and I didn't love it, but I think it's a pretty good book. I had a good week reading it. The ending is surely not, boy, it's just I don't even want to give a word to it. It's just I wasn't expecting what was going to happen to the lead character. I wasn't expecting how this was going to end at all, and it qualifies as, let's say, a piece of artwork where you, the reader, need to get something out of it for yourself. So pretty decent read, Voidverse by Damien Ober. This is, I guess, a one-shot, and probably I haven't heard anything. I didn't even look it up to see if there's more to come or something, but it works. If it isn't, it certainly works as a one-shot, so hopefully that's just a one-time deal there. Ta-da! Up next, I have read 1, 2, 3, 4. I have read 5 other Mark Lawrence books, and 3 of them I loved. 2 of them I thought were okay, but I didn't. They were beginnings of series that I did not continue, and I'll explain more when I talk about the book next. But I have been waiting for this brand new The Daughter of Crows by Mark Lawrence. Let's see here. Give me what I'm looking at. The survivor of a brutal academy must exhume her own past in the first book in a new series from the international best-selling author of Red Sister and Prince of Thorns. Set a thief to catch a thief, set a monster to punish monsters. The Academy of Kindness exists to create agents of retribution, cast in the image of the Furies, known as the Kindly Ones, against whom even the gods hesitate to stand. Each year, 100 girls are sold to the Academy. 10 years later, only 3 will emerge. The Academy's hall runs with blood. The few who survive its decade-long nightmare have been forged on the sands of the Wound Garden. They have learned ancient secrets amid the necrotic fumes of the Bone Garden. They leave the Academy's gates as avatars of vengeance, bound to uphold the oldest of laws. Only the most desperate would sell their child to the Academy. But Rue, she sold herself. And now, a lifetime later, a long and bloody lifetime later, she has discovered peace. She has discovered peace, war. Why am I reading this sentence wrong? A long and bloody lifetime later, just as she has discovered peace. One more time. Just as she has discovered peace, war has been brought to an old woman's doorstep. That was a mistake. Assassins then? Good. Can't wait. When I read the Red Sister book, I thought that was Assassins, but it really kind of wasn't Assassins, so maybe that's what we were getting here. So, pretty good. Voidverse. This is next week. Thank you all very much. That is it. See ya. Bye-bye.